There's this old idea in copywriting and marketing in general that you should tell people about all the great things they're going to experience, all the great features, all the great benefits, all the great outcomes they're going to get and have when they buy your product or service. And there is a way to do that effectively, but there is a problem with it. But the same thing comes up when just asking people, well, what do you do? What is the thing that you really do? They often feel like they have to explain a ton of things, or otherwise people won't see how great their product or service is, that they're just not going to understand how remarkable it is, or what makes it unique, or why they should really buy it, why it would potentially change their life forever. Let's look at a used car salesman, the stereotypical one, who's going to just list out a bunch of things about what a car is like. So if you ask, well, what is this car like? They're going to tell you how it's ecological and safe and family friendly and super cool looking and good for long and short trips and great on the highways and in the city and easy to park and great stereos, great brakes. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And your experience will overall be, well, I guess it's an okay car, but it's probably not perfect for me. It's not probably exactly what I want. On the other hand, let's say that the most important things for you in a car would be safe, family friendly and ecological. And then you point to a car and ask the salesperson, what's this car like? And they say, well, that's our probably the most ecological car. It has super good safety features and it's really overall a very good family car. Are you interested to hear more? Definitely, because they just told you that it is exactly the things that are most important for you. They can then, once you've told that, yeah, it sounds great, tell me more, then they can tell about all the other things. But if you don't first get that sense of, this is really interesting, this car stands out as the best one, or this car stands out as, it's obviously a very good option for me, so tell me more about it. If you don't get that sense first, then you're not going to listen to that long list of random benefits like great stereo if that's not really important for you. So how do you figure out what are those most impactful things? So first of all, I call it your core value message, but whatever you call it, the first thing you need to do is narrow down to the most desirable outcomes or the most desirable benefits. You also need to narrow down to the most meaningful, clear differentiators, ones that really are meaningful for your target customers. And you need to narrow down to the ideas that are easy to communicate, that are effective to communicate quickly. And there's a bunch of things you need to look there, but that's basically the stuff you need to do so that you get down to the most impactful ideas and then just make a message out of it that's easy to communicate. That's how you do it in detail isn't really the point of this video, but that's the big picture of it. The point isn't necessarily to find some completely new ideas. My clients may be 50-50 chance that there's some completely new idea. For the other 50%, it's just a more concise, clearer, more impactful, easier to believe, easier to communicate way of saying things they already said. And it's more narrowed down version of it. The problem isn't usually at all that my clients wouldn't have plenty of ideas of what they could say, plenty of good positive things about the product or service, plenty of great differentiators, plenty of all of that. Not all of them do that, but most people have a pretty good long list of ideas. The problem is just narrowing it down to what are truly the most impactful things, so that those impactful things can stand out. The same thing happens in a lot of different things. It can be really tricky to narrow down what you say without losing the feeling yourself that you are getting the right ideas across. I don't remember who it was, but some speaker said that, well, if you hire me for a day, it's X amount. If you hire me for only half a day, it's gonna be more than that. And if you hire me for only a couple hours, it's even more. Because the shorter the time frame, the more preparation it takes for him to do a good job, so that the presentation still gets the right ideas across. The same thing happens in webinars, the same thing happens in videos, the same thing happens in emails. I mean, I've a few times done this with a response I've written for a client. So they've asked something via email and I write a fairly long response. And at the end of the email, I've written, sorry, I didn't have time to make this shorter. So my point is, narrow down to the most impactful things, the most meaningful differentiators, really the things that are going to make the biggest difference to how likely people are to buy from you. It's well worth spending that time and effort in doing that because it makes all your marketing much more effective. Now, I'm curious to hear if you've had any trouble with this, or if you have the same sense that it's much easier to write long or talk about something for a longer time to get the idea across, that it's hard to concisely say the same thing. Just leave a comment about it. And if you found this useful at all, then please click the like button. It really helps me out, so I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you want to see the next video, click the subscribe button. I'll see you there.